Um, Welcome to my latest stream. This is actually going to be a quick live stream. I just want to make sure that everything is working as it should be. This is actually a quick live stream on my channel to show you guys like a little haul that I've kind of gotten at my first boot fair of the year. So let me just make sure this is kind of all working. It says I'm streaming and live stream starting soon. Okay. My channel. Okay. Control room. Okay. Broadcast alert. That. Okay. I'm not quite sure. Ah, there we are. We are live. All right. Brilliant. Brilliant. Okay. It is all working fine. It's not working exactly how I had intended it to work. So apologies for that. But anyway, welcome to my live stream. This is going to be my first car boot haul of the year of 2016. So look, car. Let me just add these titles. And I will save that. That's fine. Brilliant. Okay. Okay, I didn't go exactly how I'd planned. I'd planned for it to go a bit smoother than that. I'd set it up as a kind of scheduled event, but I obviously haven't done that correctly, so I'm gonna have to look into that and kind of do it another time. But other than that, I'm hoping everything is looking good. Everything seems to be working okay. So apologies for the start. But anyway, like I said, this is going to be a live stream. Everything seems to be working just fine. And the live stream is about my very first car boot of 2016. We went out really early this morning. The car boot starts at, I think it was 6 in the morning. It starts for buyers and sellers, which was really early. So we woke up at, me and my wife, we woke up at quarter to, or is it 4:30? I think 4:45 roughly. Got up quickly, knackered because it was the first time I've done it in a long while, and we made our way to the car boot, and it was pitch black at first. I mean, it starts at 6, which is kind of silly in a way because you can't really see what's going on, in the dark. So everyone was walking around with their smartphones, with their flashlights on them, so they could just see what was going on, what they were looking at. And also, like I said, the buyers and sellers, it starts for both sides at 6 o'clock in the morning. So not only is it pitch black, there's not really a lot you can look at because the sellers are getting all their stock out, and people. I was just walking around kind of like an aimless, like a headless chicken in a way, like just going through the aisles again and again, just hoping to see if someone was bringing stuff out that I may be interested in. And obviously, when it's dark as well, sellers don't really want you to be rummaging through their stuff whilst they're putting it out. So that was another thing. But eventually, it did get going, and I think we did okay. We picked up a few half decent items. Let me just have a look and see. Have I got any messages? I don't even know how to check, to be honest with you. But yeah, I did get more comments below. Here we go. That's way too early. It was a ridiculous start. Hey Tom, how are you doing? Yeah, Tom the English Picker's in the chat. Brilliant. So like I said, it was a bit crazy. The start was a bit crazy because everyone's just walking around. Okay, currently the keyframe setting is 8.3. Okay. Also, Tom, could you do me a favor? Let me know what's the stream quality like, because I'm getting a message from YouTube saying I've got bad video settings. I hope it's okay. It looks okay. No, the injection. I don't know. Well, it looks like it's working anyway. It looks like it's working. But anyway, I'm going to get on with it because I'm kind of getting sidetracked and babbling a little bit. It's great. Oh, brilliant. Quality's great. Video and audio are great. Thank you, Highway Bus. Thank you for letting me know, because it is obviously a bit unnerving when you're talking to the camera and you're not quite sure if it's working or not. So it looks like it's working okay. It's just YouTube is telling me that it's not good settings for some reason. Anyway, I'm gonna get going with the haul. Now, the very first item that I picked up this morning was this, which is pretty cool, and it's still got its original box, and it's a Cabimat automatic slide projector. Now, it was a pretty easy buy. The guy that sells it, he does like a lot of house clearances, and I think he runs auctions in the area as well. He's a nice guy, and he just offered it to me for a fiver. And I've not even looked at it yet, so we can actually take a look at this together, which is pretty cool. Oh, it says it's November. Oh yeah, I need to change that actually. I'm gonna change that now to January. There you go. January. There we go. That should save that now. There you go. I've updated that. I do not have a TARDIS. If I did, I'd be really happy. But yeah, I've not actually even looked at this, but he gave this to me for a fiver. So it's basically a vintage automatic slide projector by a company called Cabimat. If I just take it out and have a look at it, it's got its like original kind of case, which looks quite cool as well. Let's have a look. I can just get that clipped off. It's got its original remote control clicker thing, which is quite nice as well. And if I pull that off and have a look at it, well, I'm not sure whether it's going to be in working condition or not, because it's pretty old, but I paid a fiver for it, and it's just a cool bit of kit. I'm not sure how much I'd get back for this. It obviously would depend on whether it's working or not, which I'm not 100% sure it will be by the looks of it. But that's the kind of risk that you sometimes have to take. Yeah, I've got a Fila jumper on. It was from a charity shop, so you know it is a bit old school. Just need the Kappa trousers. Yeah. Yeah, my dress sense is very dependent on what's available at the charity shops, to be honest with you. I don't like buying new clothes. I just can't. It's just not my cup of tea. I just don't enjoy it. I mean, how can you spend like 30 quid on something like this, or 20 quid, or whatever it costs? Helly Hansen socks? No, I don't think so. That's pushing it a bit there. So yeah. Anyway, that's my first pickup. So that was a fiver. I'm not sure if it's in working order or not. It looks a bit battered. But eventually, even as a prop, it could sell as a prop, and it's quite nice. It's even got its original lens cap, which is nice as well. It's like a retro item. You could, like I said, you could even try to sell it off as a prop if you wanted to. So, I mean, that was the first item. So the first item there for £5 was a vintage projector. I'm getting caught up in these wires, which is really awesome. Yeah, projector is pretty nice. Yeah, I do like it. I mean, that's the thing. When you buy these kind of vintage items, even if they turn out not to work, there's always the prop type of market, or just collectors that like to display cool stuff, like man cave. So it's the man cave market. So if you put man cave in that title, someone might buy it, have no intention of using it. Exactly. Nice to see you, Orenthal, by the way. Circa 1960s, popular in the USA. Cool. So, you know, someone will have it, and even if they've got no slides to watch, they may just have it on display because it's a cool looking piece. And for a fiver, it's pretty good. Your only pickup was a KFC burger. Still a good pickup there, Terry. It may not bring you the returns you want. You will get, obviously, a return from that burger, but I'm not sure it's going to be of the monetary variety. Now, the next item that I picked up after that... Okay. Bear in mind, guys, it was pitch black, and I was using my phone to look for items. And this lady had a bunch of wrestling figures on the floor, and she had a ton of them. But she was asking quite a lot of money, and she wasn't budging. And she was asking £1.50. She was asking £1.50 per wrestling figure, which is a bit steep, and she didn't seem to want to budge, and she was doing like a 4 for £5 offer. Now I was rooting through them all with my light, and I could see most of them were ones I wasn't interested in. They were like Jack-specific model wrestlers that weren't particularly sought after, but I spotted a couple of Mattel wrestlers. Now the thing is, I made a mistake picking this up because of the dark. I didn't realize. I mean, it still might have a little bit of value, but it's not what I thought it was. Now, what you should look out for when you're buying these wrestlers is this figure here. This is a Batista wrestler figure. Now, what's cool about this guy is even though he's worn, he's very played with, these figures can sell for good money on their own. If you wait out, I've seen wrestling figures like this sell easily for anywhere between 10, 15, 20, sometimes even £30 depending on the condition and which year. And that's because this is from the elite range. So it's worth figuring out the difference between, say, a bog standard Mattel wrestler, which doesn't have much articulation, doesn't have as many joints, and a elite range wrestling figure. So this guy's an elite range wrestling figure. Now, the way you can tell that is, firstly, he's got a joint there in his abdomen there, so you can pose him a bit more. But also, he's got a moving joint at the top of his thigh. And also you've got on his knees as well, his ankles. He's very articulated. He's got more points of articulation. Very detailed tattoo. He's very played with condition, but even then, hello Ryan Senior, how are you? Even then, he can still command good money. He's from 2010, so he's from the 2010 range of elite figures. So I'm going to research that. But I expect, even though I spent £3 on these two, I should at least get at least a £10 back. This I'm not sure, but at least £10 back. So you've got to make sure that you're looking out for the elite series. That's where really the money is. So sometimes it can mean sitting there and rooting through figures, and you've got to then decide, actually, is it worth me sitting down here in the cold, showing off my ass crack, rooting through wrestling figures for 10 minutes, or am I going to be missing out on something? So you have to judge the boot fair, you have to judge, how you're feeling, and then take the time and do it that way. But still, that alone is worth. I think. I mean, you could even get a lot more. I know that's Triple H, but Batista could get me at least £10-15, I reckon, because he's an elite figure. They were in a stable together. Okay, right. So that's the next item. Now, what did I pick up after that? I'm trying to remember the order in which I picked them up in as well, which is a bit more difficult, but I thought it would be cool to do. Okay, next pickup. I've been doing a lot of hi-fi stuff recently. You guys may have seen my previous video. Oh, they were in like a group, were they, Terry? Cool. Well, that's good to know. I've forgotten or can't remember that actually, but fair enough. The other thing you guys may have noticed, if you look at my previous video, like my top 15 sales or whatever, I've been doing a lot of hi-fi equipment. And again, this is the kind of stuff that a lot of people won't want to buy because it weighs something. Obviously it's electronics. It's going to be a bit of a pain to ship. It's bulky. It's not like a DVD or a toy or something. So, but like with anything, it's what you put in is what you get out, and I'm finding that you're getting a lot more return on these kinds of items. Now, I paid £5 for this Technics amplifier. Now, I have not tested it just yet, but I was assured that it works. It's got a bunch of analog inputs as well, and it's made in Japan. Sorry, not Technics. Did I say Technics? I meant Yamaha. So yeah, it's a Yamaha integrated amp. It looks cool. It's got that retro look about it. I was assured it works. Hopefully it does. Sometimes these things don't work. Yeah, it's a Yamaha rental. That's right. Sorry, my mistake. But this is the kind of thing that does attract buyers. You'll be surprised at how quickly 80s/90s amps sell for. How quickly they sell, and for decent money depending on the model. So make sure what you're buying is quality. Like I said, even if you know nothing about hi-fi, a really good indicator is where something is made, especially in the hi-fi world. So if you're seeing something that's made in Japan, that's going to be more quality. So I don't know. I didn't know about this amp. I know about a lot of amps. I've worked in hi-fi for a long time, and it's a personal passion of mine. But I don't know. I've never seen this particular model of amp before. However, I took one look at it, saw it had that retro feel. The buttons click nicely, so you can just quickly check that. And quick peek on the back, and I saw it was made in Japan, and the guy wanted a £5 for it. You can't go wrong, really. So I'm very happy with that particular purchase. All right. You'll have to bear with me because I've surrounded myself with all the stuff I've bought this morning, and I'm kind of like just trying to work my way through it. So we'll see how it goes. Which calls buffering. Okay. Okay. Next item that I picked up. I paid a little bit more than I perhaps would have normally, but when I say a little bit more, it sounds a bit silly, but I paid £2 for this, and this is an Apple Pro keyboard from the year 2000. Now, depending on the quality of it in terms of how clean it is, you can demand decent money, but if it's in rough kind of condition with bits stuck inside the back, because it's all see-through, and over the years I think like crumbs of food and stuff that people eat at their keyboard probably get stuck there. It's a bit gruesome sometimes when you look at it closely, but as is, this will sell for decent money. You should at least be able to pick up about £12-13 for this in this condition. So that's an easy little sale to look out for. So Apple Pro keyboards, definitely worth picking up. He was asking to, he may have taken less if I'd offered less, but I was happy to pay him to in the end for some reason. Maybe I'm a bit soft at the moment because it's just the beginning of the boot fair season. Normally I would have probably said, would you take a quid? But I decided not to on this particular occasion, and I'll still do okay with that keyboard. All right. Next item. Now this was actually bought from the same stall as the guy, I think. It looks clean, but from the back it's not so clean. Now this is one of my favourite buys of the day. This was bought from a guy who guaranteed me this worked. I've tested it and it does work, and I only paid £8 for this. This is amazing. This is a Ferranti vintage valve radio from probably the 50s or 60s. I'm not quite sure which exact era, but this is awesome. This is really awesome. It's a nice valve radio. Now, when you plug these in, they take a little while for the valves to warm up and kick in, and then you get this lovely warm sound from these, and it works beautifully. Now, to give you an example of the power of boot fairs, is I recently picked up a similar valve radio from an auction, and I paid about £22 for that. It was a different model, different, well, but it's not completely different chalk and cheese type situation. As it is, I got this for just £8, working. It's tested. It's brilliant. It's a valve radio from the 50s, 60s, and it's going to sell wonderfully well. It's got that awesome look. Ferranti brand, light third home. Got all the labeling on the front there. You can see it's got a bit of damage to the grill there, but still it sounds good. That's the important thing. And on the back it's got the markings, it's got the serial number, etc. And this is just, these are pretty awesome. You can't go wrong with something like that. Yeah, this is not Bakelite. I don't think this is not. It's too flimsy. I don't know if it is or not, but I'll have to check. I've got the model number on the back, so I'll have to check that out, but lovely radio, and there's a collector's market for these. Now, you'll often see these being sold at auction on eBay, and they'll sometimes go for really low money, considering you've got to bear in mind this thing, even if it's from the 60s, even if it's from the 70s, we're talking near, 46 years if it's from the 70s, 56 years if it's from the 60s. You can't ignore that vintage. That's something that you have to add value on. Now, if you want to just stick something like this up on auction, you're going to be at the kind of mercy of whoever's watching at that time, and someone might not be there, someone might not be in the market for this. It's very specific, it's very niche. This hasn't got DAB, this hasn't got an MP3 socket, you can't plug in your iPhone or anything like that. It doesn't have apps, so most people aren't looking for this. Very few people in comparison are looking for it. However, if you take some nice photos, describe it correctly, eventually someone will pay you decent money for it. Like I said, I paid £8. I haven't checked it out, but I'm not going to be selling this for any less than 40 guaranteed. So, so there's at least 40. That would be like my bottom on this. Otherwise it will just sit and wait to be sold. Okay. Moving on, guys. By the way, thanks for the 18 people. Well, there were 20 watching, but there's 18 people watching. But thank you everyone who's popped in to to watch this. I'm pretty chuffed about that. It's really nice of you guys to take the time on your Sunday. Now, this is the next item. This is something I'm most gutted about. I paid £5 for this. This is a pure Evoke 2. Hi, Polar Shek. How are you from Bournemouth? Right. This is something that I'm a bit slightly disappointed about. Not massively, but this is a pure Evoke radio. And if you see a pure Evoke radio at a boot fair, you should buy it. And the reason is, obviously, as long as it's not too expensive. If someone's asking like £5-10 for a pure DAB radio, you should normally buy it. And if this had been working, I paid £5 for it, it would have been great. The guy actually told me this was faulty, and he was asking £5. He said, when I turn it on, it gets a display with some bars, but that's it. And I thought maybe it just needs like a soft reset or a hard reset. Sometimes with these radios, you can press like a combination of buttons and you can do like a reset on it. However, in this particular case, he was right. This thing is balked. Even though it's balked, I mean, I paid £5. I could probably at least make my money back. I probably won't make a massive profit, but after shipping and everything, I'll probably make my money back, and that's about it, really. I don't think I can expect to do too much more than that. But normally, I mean, it was worth the risk in my opinion, because I thought if the guy's wrong, if he just can't tune it in, because sometimes these things just freeze, they just need a little reset and a little bit of, a couple of buttons you press and hey presto, it works. In this case, it didn't, but still, I thought I'd show you guys. It's £5. I'm probably going to have to sell it for like £10, maybe £12-15, maybe, I don't know, something like that, because obviously it is faulty. Before I do that, though, obviously I will open it up and see if I can tinker with it and find out. But it depends on time as well. You have to think about, is it worth the effort to kind of mess around with it? Chances are probably not. If this was in working order, it's a comfortable 40 odd pounds, probably 30-40 pounds. But as it is, it's a bit of a dud. But still, I'm happy with that. Overall, though, you can take some risks sometimes. Okay. 23 people watching now. Hi guys. Okay, awesome. Walking past, I saw this puzzle. Lady only wanted £1. It's a Gibson's puzzle, No Stone Unturned, from Tom Sirac. My initial thought was FBA. The box at the back is a little bit dented. It's a bit, you can see it's a bit crushed in. So I'll probably end up selling that on eBay, or I might sell it as like new on Amazon and describe that particular fault with it. But for £1, puzzles for £1, especially from a brand like Gibson's, which is like a renowned brand in puzzles, it's a no-brainer. Okay, this is really awesome as well. Another pretty cool item. This is a movie editor. Now, this is by a company called Oxford. It's a Prinz Oxford movie editor. A company called Prinz. They've made, again, I don't know much about this. I know that it's to cut probably or edit real movies, so 8mm reel movies. I've got a reel here of 8mm film. It's like an adult film, I think. I did mention this on the Facebook group before, so I could what I can do is I could probably hook this reel on. This is the wrong size, I think. No, it's not actually, it's the right size. Hook this on, and then you feed it through somehow. I mean, I'll have to look into it. I've done no research on this. Whoops, there you go. I've done no research on this, but you hook it on. Yeah, exactly. It does look awesome. So one reel there, wind it through the mechanism, and this lights up. There's a lamp. I've plugged it in and tested it, and it works. And then what you do is you just look through the peephole there. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, and guess how much, guys? I paid £3 for that. £3. I mean, me and the missus spent £7 on coffee and a sandwich there. That's really bad, to be honest with you. It's £7 on that, whereas we only spent £3 on this, and that is beautiful. These tend to go for about £20, I've seen, but from £3 it's good. I could probably get more. Yeah, £10 to £20. There you go. Odd, but it's a nice thing. And again, with the right keywords, the right photos, you could probably get £20. You know, if you wait it out, I'd hope to get nearer the 20. But for £3, that is a really nice little find. Okay. Now, I always seem to pick up the next item that I'm going to show you guys. So I'm going to show you anyway, because it's a really good example. Okay. I paid £4 for this. It's a Sony VCR. This came from a bunch of from guys that were doing house clearances. I've had a look inside. The VCR is in excellent condition. The remote and manual and everything is in the remote and manual. There is just it looks like it's not been used. And £4. Hey, Maniacs Gaming, you know some good car boot places? London's a big place. You're gonna have to be a bit more specific where in London, but there's plenty of boot fairs all across London. Best thing to do is to go into Facebook and type in boot sales, and a lot of boot sales have their own pages now, so you'll be able to then see which boot fairs there are. But yeah, that was a VCR, £4. £4. I mean, the way they even looked at it is when I asked them how much, they're like, I said, how much is this VCR? £4, and they were hopeful. I could have probably offered 3, but considering it's boxed, it has all the inserts, it's got the remote and everything looks mint. The VCR looks mint, no problem. Maniacs Gaming. You can't go wrong for £4, and that's comfortable 30 odd pounds. All day long, it really is. It's going to have no issues picking up like that kind of money. So that's something that's definitely worth keeping an eye on. I go on about VCRs a lot. VCRs are 35. Yeah, with the boxes it will help as well. That's one of the lower end VCRs as well. That's not Sony's best VCR by a long shot. It's one of the cheapest selling VCRs on eBay. But considering it's got the box and everything and the inserts are there, someone may pay the premium. And like I said, hopefully I will get 35 for it, maybe 40 if I'm lucky. But that's what I'm aiming for. I mean, check out VCRs, keep an eye out on them. If you're lucky, you might get a Super VHS VCR. No, those are serious money. So anything which says SVHS on it, just grab hold of it when you see it. There we go. With your good picks, 100. I wish I could get 100. All right, next items. We're coming towards the end, so if you guys have got any questions as well, I'll be happy to answer those. If not, then obviously that'll be it. But I've got only a couple more items to show you. Let me just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I don't think I am. Right, here's another one. This is cool. This is the kind of thing I like to take a risk on. Most people will ignore this. This is a Sony CD radio cassette. Get down the gym. How are you? Yeah, stick the VCR on FBA. Yeah, that's a good point because it is complete. Once I've tested it and everything, I may well consider that. But there you go. Look, check this out. This is something that a lot of people will walk past. This is a Sony radio cassette CD player, portable one. And it's in grubby condition, it really is. It felt a bit damp, to be honest with you. It felt kind of like it's been, obviously it was out today, so it would have picked up some moisture, and it's really grotty, so it needs a little bit of a wipe. Many sellers, okay, well, I think you're talking about a different booth out there. But yeah, it definitely needs a clean, and again, it was from a house clearance stall, and they offered it to me for £3. That's it, £3. That's all they wanted. No haggling required. I thought, you know what? If it works, I'll do okay with it. If it doesn't work, I've lost £3. That's the way I thought. And I was pleasantly surprised. I plugged it in. I've tested the radio. I've tested the audio cassette. I've tested the CD. It works fine, and it cost me £3. That is fantastic. I mean, you really can't go wrong. Have a look at that. Nice little portable CD stereo with the cassette as well. It's all plastic. It's not high quality. Now, this was made probably in China, I'm guessing. This is not like a high-end model, but they still command money because they're versatile. You know, you won't kind of lose out in that sense. I mean, they're very versatile, and lots of people have got you know, cassettes that they listen to. People still use audio cassettes a lot more than people realize. And yes, you can connect an iPod to it, or Enthal, you're right, because it's got an audio in at the front. So a jack to jack cable from your good old iPod like that will kind of. Oh, sorry, I just banged my headphones. By the way, check out my cool headphones, guys. They're Razer and they glow. See that glow? That's so awesome. And it's fantastic. So you know, £3. I didn't even need to haggle. You don't even feel the need to haggle. You're like, well, if that's all you're asking, I'll pay it. I'm happy. And it will sell for good money for me. All right. Final item, yet another bit of electronics. Hey, carp fishing, great streams there. How are you finding FBA yourself? You haven't done a lot of videos on it, like your eBay ones. Carp fishing, I do FBA, but very slightly. Like I'm not heavily into it, like you said. I'm more kind of when I'm out and about. If I find some books that are vintage or interesting, or if I find some items like that, or if I do come across some kind of retail arbitrage, like I'll consider it. But most of the stuff I send in, it takes me a long while to get a box of stuff made up to send up there, and I don't really focus on it particularly. It's just not something that's on my that's mega high. I like doing it because it's nice when you get the odd sale from it. You know, I don't mind FBA at all. Like I actually sent a box up just on I can't remember, it's Thursday or Friday. I sent a box up. So I was really you know, really happy with what I sent up there, but it's not going to be fast items. I mean, it's got some weird books in there. It's mostly full of like some weird books, a few bits of new stock that I found, but generally I'm happier on eBay just because I think I find that the stuff that I like to buy, and that's the important thing. With this job, you have to do what you like to do. What you like. You're not gonna list things that you don't really enjoy unless you really push yourself. And so I find that the most of the things that I like to pick up are more eBay related. I mean, I may do some FBA videos in the future, but it's not like it's just not top of my agenda. So you know, like Smart Reselling says, yeah, FBA has been great. Yeah, Nowhere is fun. Yeah, I mean, it depends. Some people prefer FBA because it's easy. Yeah, and you're right. With eBay, you've got instant payments, and but again, for me, like I said, it comes down to the fact that I enjoy finding certain crap and listing it. I mean, I'll give you an example, guys. I bought these on retail arbitrage from my local supermarket, and they're brand new and sealed. And the chances are, because I'm probably going to end up just sticking these on eBay at some point. I don't know. FBA is good, but maybe I like sending certain things. And there we are. Apollo Shake, did I pay tax already? I pretty much have. I've got to just sign off on it. I'm a bit late this time, but I've got everything ready. So, you know, it's done, so not a problem. All right, let's have a look. All right, this is actually the final item I've got to show you, unfortunately, guys, but this is awesome. This is freaking fantastic. This is a Sharp auto stop cassette player, made in Japan. Picked this up for £2, and when I bought it, it had the batteries in there, the C-size batteries, and they had burst, and it was all gunky. But still, the lady wanted £2. You know, it's I don't know. It was a bit manky. I was a bit surprised that she still wanted £2 for it. However, it's made in Japan. It's retro. It's vintage. The buttons click nicely. I've tested it out and it works really well. Actually, it works pretty decent. The only thing is, I'm not sure if the forward works, which is a bit of a pain. But you can always flip the cassette and use the rewind button. That's an old school trick, isn't it? So that always works. But it plays cassettes perfectly. I tested it out using a really cool cassette that I've got called An Irish Musical Journey. 48 superb Paddy Riley songs, and I recommend that you use this as your test cassette. It's really good, and the reason why I went for it is even though I knew that that was a problem with the battery leakage, I saw the side, um, and it has a regular 8-pin power supply, and so that works really well. So yeah, great electronics reminds me. Our Craigslist Hunter's amazing, Polashek. If I was even 5% as good as him, I'd be happy. Smart reselling. Any tips on how to clean out corrosion properly? A bicarb of soda with a little bit of water. Just dab it on, and that should kind of get rid of it. Yeah, baking soda. There you go. Figure of 8 cable. That's it. Carp fishing. Yes, I got the Razor watch. It's so cool. It is the coolest watch ever. Well, it's probably not, but for me it is. It's so nice. But yeah, that's my Razer Nabu watch. That I've got a video of that on my other YouTube channel. But yeah, so that pretty much is it for the pickups today. So considering it's like an early boot fair, it's like January the 24th. It's cold. It's dark outside. I think I actually did pretty well. Not many items, but the items I've picked up have got good returns. So it's really that's another key thing. That's why I like the items that I'm picking up at the moment. They're decent returns. Zay, did you get rid of all your GameCube stuff? Yes, Terry, I got rid of all of it. So yeah, I got rid of all of that stuff ages ago. I think I don't think I've got anything left from that pretty much. So you know, yeah, it's thank you, carp fishing. Yeah, it's a cool watch. But yeah, I mean, like I said, guys, I mean, for the time of year of the boot fair, it was really good. So I can't complain. Like I said, it was very dark for the majority of it. It started very early, but there was a lot of sellers there. There weren't regular sellers. They were a lot of house clearance, but don't look at that as a negative thing. I think sometimes people really focus on the car that drives up at the boot fair. So you'll see people start hovering when like someone drives up with a Mercedes or with a Range Rover or with like a small, nice, newish car. But sometimes those guys won't have what you want. Today there were a couple of ladies that pulled up in a beautiful Mercedes. Everyone started to crowd around them, and they did have a ton of clothing. But if you're not into clothing or you're not, it's pitch black, you're not going to get a good idea of what the clothes look like, what condition they're in. They may have small holes that you're not going to see in those conditions. Then suddenly you're kind of onto a risky situation, and you've hung around just because they've got like a nice new Mercedes. Whereas if you see a rickety old transit van turning up with rust on the side, when they open up, they sometimes have treasure there, and more than that, they just want to churn it. They're not particularly interested. You will get the odd person that wants silly prices. I mean, there was a guy today asking £40 for a pink PS2 Slim. I know they're worth some money, but you're out in the middle of a field selling it with no return policy, no protection for the buyer. You're trying to bundle it with some crap games and charging £40. Yeah, he had a couple of pink controllers, but again, no guarantee they were working, etc. It's just not. Yes, Leanne Lake, and they were swarming around the Merc. But yeah, you have to kind of accept that there will be people trying to get close to eBay prices. You just have to move on. But definitely don't shy away from house clearance stalls. They're really good, and sometimes these people will just want to shift the stuff. They don't care how much they sell it for. They've got a ton of it. They just want to shift it, and that's where you're going to get some really good deals. So that's pretty much it, guys. I've got to say thank you. I've got 31 people watching me, which is pretty awesome. I only announced this half hour ago, and didn't have a massive haul to show you guys, but it is that time of year where the boot fairs are only just kicking off, and if there's enough interest, I'll be happy to kind of do these videos on a weekly basis, and put them up there and share with you guys what hauls I've picked up. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the stream. Thank you for like the 32 people that are watching this. I'm really impressed. Appreciate it. Oh, you got Royston Gaming. You got a Berghaus puffer jacket for £3. Very good buy, Berghaus, especially at this time of year. That should sell pretty quickly. So it's you know, it's pretty good. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot. Like I said, if you've got any comments, leave them in the comment section. If you liked the video, like it. If you didn't like the stream, dislike it, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. And now I've got to figure out how to stop streaming.